Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Dave, and today I'm hanging out with all these fine nerds. Of course, there's Nerdarchist Ted and myself uh, from Nerdarchy here, but we got some friends with us: Robin Miller, Carlos Rivera, and Stephen Partridge, in no particular order. You can find links to them down in the description to stalk them across the interwebs in the good way, not the creepy way. We're going to be playing some Zoo Mafia RPG tonight with Ted as our illustrious GM, also known as the Zookeeper and Zoo Mafia. We're getting close to the end. With that, I'm just going to throw it over to Ted. But before I do want to remind you down in the description you can find links to download the Quick Start rules for free and check them out. Also, while you're down there, check out everyone else's links as well. You got it, Ted.
All right, so welcome to Central City Zoo. This is the second Zoo Mafia campaign, having nothing to do with the original. We have a somewhat grittier, darker zoo. We've got a lot of things crazy happening. As always, you can head over to nerdarchy.com, get access to the link to the quick start rules, as well as form fillable playbooks or character sheets, so you can be able to play this at your own table as you see fit. Now, we possibly are going to be, nearing the end of this particular campaign, depending upon what these lovely players decide to do. I'm going to roll the D4, and this is going to go, well, right back to Dave to introduce who he is and what he remembers from last session. So take it away.
What? There was a last session. I'm playing Tully, the Speedster McGee. I'm a tortoise, and he is a driver, using the driver playbook. And we had a Datorama session last session. I took out Chi Chi from the Pink Ladies, a gang of heavy hitters for Al Capone, who is currently indisposed of for some reason or another. Had nothing to do with us, of course. But in the meantime, it was fantastic. We danced, we fought, not each other, but enemies. And I think Chi Chi's gonna come around and join our gang that we're forming, our own very own mafia, led by Arnold Shortman. I'm gonna throw it to Carlos.
What's good, internet? My name is Carlos Rivera. I run the Volcanic Knight YouTube channel, and I play Arnold Shortman, the hippopotamus grifter. Last night, I keep saying that. Last time we got together, yes, Tully is absolutely correct. We went on Date Night Simulator for the second time, I believe. And what happened was we were having a great time. Things were fantastic. Then we got ambushed by who other than Charlie freaking Chains himself. Well, I was dressed up as Charlie Chains, which led to a great dilemma, a lot of confusion with my date. It was like, what? What's up, man? Long story short, we absolutely mollywopped Charlie, and believe it or not, I didn't get turned down by this opportunity, but it did not come with a bit of loss. R.I.P. Ricky, pouring out for him. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Frenzy.
Man, all right. So you have stated a lot of things that definitely happened last week, and I am trying to drum up a thought as to what else happened last week that hasn't
Pulled a Steve in my bad.
been said already. We have definitely recruited more people.
Hey,
but I'm gonna be honest.
Who did Frenzy go on a date with?
Oh yeah, Brad Smith. She was kind of mad about that actually, but by the end of it, she wasn't mad about that anymore. She's kind of into him. Not that she would admit that directly. If you asked her, she would get a little bit surly about it. However, I have to admit that Steven is sitting here and Cyrano de Bergerac-ing me all the answers, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass that along.
You outed me! No! Hi, everybody. I'm Stephen Partridge, and I'm playing Roscoe Reddick, who is a red panda snatcher. And so we went on Date Simulator, which was awesome. Frenzy had a whole, it was very flirtatious and also, kind of edgy. It was predator prey dance, which was cool. Tully, of course, went with his flamingo. We're still trying to convince Tully that flamingo isn't the same as flaming O. And then, of course, Arnold.
It is the way Tully does it.
That is valid. And Arnold went as Charlie Chains, only for Charlie Chains to show up and try to shoot the place up. So we totally sent him swimming with the fishes. And then in the process, while Roscoe kind of struggled on his date initially with a panda grifter whose name is Barry the Bamboozler Green, he eventually ended up not only cementing a relationship with his on again, off again, but also managed to recruit him over to Arnold's side, which was super exciting. And we did unfortunately find our beloved Ricky Raccoon dead and already killed by the laughing stock. Now, we already dealt with Charlie Chains, but Ricky was tortured. And so we got to send a message because he's our little guy. And if we don't stand up for our little guys with this new mafia we're trying to build, then like, who even are we as a mafia, right? Like, we got to show we can actually run a protection racket by protecting people. So that's where we left off.
I want to bring up one quick thing. For anyone who ever wanted to add romance to your game, but don't actually want to like role play the romance, you should check out last session if you haven't seen it already. Ted did a really fantastic job of allowing us to kind of stretch our role playing legs a little bit without going too in depth, and also adding some mechanical aspects of it that where it all still felt kind of meaningful and engaging. So major props and shout out to Nerdarchist Ted.
Well, thank you. I've tried to allow you guys to go in the direction that you've wanted to do, even when it has definitely stepped miles over the line of where I felt this story was originally going to go.
Ted's
but
like,
you know what?
How can I do this without having Dave stare lovingly into my eyes for a session?
Well, you know what? It's a role-playing game, and we got to do what we got to do sometimes. So I've sat across from you at the table many times. We've danced this dance of the romance stuff with several characters in sessions past, and always found a way to keep things from getting weird.
Welcome to thespian acting in D&D.
So, without further ado, you guys have set all of your minions and selves, in some cases, to the tasks at hand. After the very thrilling night of date, gunfire, resume date scenario, a minor correction, the investigation led to believe that Ricky Raccoon was tortured and then murdered by not the laughingstock, but by Charlie Chains.
Oh.
But the laughingstock was clearly working with Hambino and Charlie Chains at the rabbit hole where you guys had your date the following evening.
Unfortunately, we can't kill him twice.
That is true, but you know, there is the talk of trying to put some further revenge to the laughingstock, and that leads us into the following day. The sun rises, and even while the humans are out, there's a bit of tension in the zoo. Something is unfolded the evening before. There has been made mention of, threats from Hambino. Otto himself has, been making moves. But there's whispers about potentially some new player, entering the field, and everyone is a bit unease. And all of the news, when the Central City Gazette hits, all of them are questioning who is Crazy River Horse. Speculations abound. Some are, looking at the term horse. Some are looking at the term crazy. Some are looking at the term river. What could it mean? Who could it be? What does this mean for the zoo? and every one of the reporters is weighing in. So, I'm throwing it to you, Dave. One of the reporters. Who are they speculating is the crazy river horse?
So I feel like they're pointing towards the petting zoo,
Okay.
and there is a pony over there that is known to they have like they wheel out this big giant pool, and the kids
Mhm.
get to ride the pony around the pool, and it swims with them on with the kids on his back.
And what is this pony's name?
Uh, that's a very good question. We're gonna go with Paul
Paul Pony.
Muttenstein.
All right. So, Robin, who do you feel the the newspaper is pointing to as crazy river horse?
A seahorse. Yeah, there's a seahorse in the aquarium who it gets a little bit hot under the collar. Man's a conspiracy theorist, right? Like
Mhm.
thinks everything's connected.
And
That's the guy.
what is this seahorse's name?
Uh Jeffrey.
All right. Carlos.
So, while not necessarily a horse, but there's a penguin also in the aquarium. And he likes to hang around the water, and the way he has a kind of a limp, so the way he's walking is like,
Like he's got a Charlie horse.
yeah, like just like a complete, but it's from an injury, but that's who they think it might be.
And what is this penguin's name?
We'll call him Penny.
Penny?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And last but certainly not least, Steven. Who is potentially Crazy River Horse?
So there is this wild theory going around too that it could be a move by Otto, because who else is crazy enough to come up with a name like this? It might just be Otto doing more shenanigans and trying to divert the attention, given that Al Capone has already been arrested.
I love it. So, this, among several other rumors and speculation, are in the newspaper, with each reporter espousing who they think potentially this crazy river horse is, and each one is met with a particular example. The petting zoo, Paul. Well, look at it. It's crazy river horse. So what if it's the fact that the pony rides around in the water. There's all these angles to tie, and you know what? Ponies, they can be a little crazy. They're smaller than regular horses, so they've got this whole size complex going on. Jeffrey the seahorse, is definitely one to have a lot of attitude in those times that he's visited, and the fact that he's pretty much behind glass makes it a lot easier for him to be sheltered away from other prying eyes and, more importantly, ears. So you never know exactly what Jeffrey is doing. Penny the penguin, well, he's got that limp, and some say that it was from a grievous fight from long ago, and just see that little twitch in his eye every time he limps. You can see that he's got that crazy look about him, so no one fits the crazy better than him. But unless you go with Otto, who is already listed as crazy, and this reporter puts their own life on the line to mention how crazed Otto actually is. And with that craziness, with that sheer ridiculousness, comes with the shenanigans of maybe this is just Otto trying to make Hambino afraid by having yet another player on the field, and Otto can kind of try to bring him down while Hambino's spending, his valuable peanuts trying to track down who this fake name is of this crazy river horse. So with all of that, how do each of you react when this news comes to you?
I think Roscoe will just slap the paper down on the table in the hideout and be like, we made the front page on 3 different papers.
Well, there's one paper, but it's all the stories.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he'll just say, we made the front page and slap it down. He'll be like, Arnold, you're a legend and you don't even know it. They don't even know it. It's great.
How did they get it wrong? We told them. Crazy river horse, and we pointed to Arnold. I was very implicit in who it is. This is shoddy journalism at its best.
So while this Discord is happening, Arnold looks more focused than I think you probably have ever seen him. Almost like he hears you, he acknowledges what everyone's saying, as they say, he's giving everybody eye attention, but he's definitely super focused on the job at hand, figuring out how can we make this more obvious. Trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or in this case, 2 wild boars.
What about Frenzy? How is she reacting to all of this news?
Oh, she is very amused. As a matter of fact, she's gonna like pin up copies of these theories.
So, boss, what do you want to do next?
Gotta make them hurt. Gotta make them suffer.
As of last night, you have got a grifter, a hitter, 2 squads that have all joined the Crazy River Horse. You have got the 3 squads of the pet house that were part of your gang previously, from when you basically rescued them from the pet store down the road. You've successfully managed to hook a decent percentage of the fuzz, if you will, on the cocaine-soaked leather hides and others on the nip. So for at least the time being, the cops are either on the take or out of your hair. The question is, what are you assigning to who, and what are you looking to do yourselves?
If memory serves correctly, we had I'm sorry, your boy toy's name, Brad Spit. I think, is it correct that we had him with the selling of the merchandise, or was that inaccurate?
I have no notes on any of the new recruits as to what it is that they've been told to do.
Yeah, I don't think we assigned anything yet, per se.
No, I don't think we ever made a final call on that either.
So I believe there was the potential of the rodents being asked.
Wait a minute, wasn't Jenny and Frenzy about to go on a mission, or did they do the mission?
Yeah, yeah. Weren't they going to do something with the laughing stock?
There was talk of this session being able to do a hit on the laughing stock, but that has not happened yet.
And it was going to be messy.
I do
And-
remember that now because we were gonna and make a point. And I was gonna tell her to go if it would give her nightmares for me to make a point and her to watch it.
She didn't really seem to have a problem either direction.
Well, in that case,
But the missions that I have is the rodents were being asked to keep their ears down low and to gain the info on the birds, which is somewhat amusing considering how many birds eat rodents, and you're sending them to get the information. Though your options were rodents, cats, and reptiles. Reptiles currently do not have a job, and all of your new recruits were not given any particular tasks as of yet.
I want the reptiles to get me information on Otto. I want to be apprised of his actions and moves he's going to be making. I'm sure he's getting somewhat antsy, suspicious since we've been leaving him on red.
Well, I believe at this point in time you've moved past keeping him on red. It's been downright ignored. So.
Yep.
Last time they insult us mildly.
Primarily giving the chameleons this job because they don't need the extra camouflage to get out alive, the chameleons and snakes. Because man, I think they could use that little bit of an advantage. And I guess how have the cats been with
So the cats are basically dealing with the NIP, being the distributors and handling any further sale that would go in that particular direction.
Okay. By any chance, have they ever made any progress in regards to the lions in that section of the zoo?
As far as the NIP?
Yes.
All right.
Let's get some crackhead lions.
Give me a die roll. Give me a die roll +2.
Okay. 4, so 6 altogether.
So lions are going to be a no.
Got it.
But
All right.
hey, your cats just gained an experience.
Hey, good for them.
One of them might not have made it out.
Oh no. All right. And in regards to, I guess, information on the birds, did the little critters get any useful information?
So the idea was to try and figure out what it was that the birds did, and that what was Al Capone's aspect. And you have a number of Al Capone's resources at your disposal, so it really wasn't very hard to gain that info. But like many other of the mafia heads, there was, having the establishment of the Roost, which was a club in and of itself that allowed gambling and the sale and drink of alcohol. So therefore, hey, a place to do illegal activities. They of course ran protection. They of course, brought in other illicit, merchandise, things that were human goods, as well as, other things that were, fit for birds, but weren't readily available here. But they also ran protection, so it was like, all right, well, sometimes, you just need to pay up, or well, pretty much somebody was going to get gunned down or beat up.
You know what? now that I'm thinking about this, who amongst our current clique from Al Capone, I guess it may be good at manufacturing, because we may want to send, before we send in Frenzy and you know, Jenny, we may want to have Totally smuggle in a bomb, but wrapped very carefully and packaging that wouldn't be too alarming to the laughing stock.
Well, that would be something that you guys would have to, discuss amongst yourselves as to whether you want to just blow them up or whether you want to make it personal and make it messy.
That bomb idea was Carlos's idea. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
honestly,
But I mean,
I
you would be able to throw that idea out there and
yeah,
they could
well,
choose to weigh in as to how they feel.
yeah, 'cause personally, Arnold would want to squish him with his body, but
You know me. I'm always up for a good firebombing.
points over to his war general Frenzy. Your thoughts?
Okay, I am going to need reappraised very quickly because my small was yelling and I was looking at what he was yelling about and I missed a bit.
So rather than you and Jenny going and hitting up the laughing stock, the river horse is suggesting that that you guys package up a bomb and deliver that to the laughing stock and have it, be an explosion as opposed to a messy murder house.
I mean, that does kind of send a point as well. All right, I will dip in and make sure that nobody we don't want blown up is in there first, though.
Okay. I think that might be
We
a
could
plan,
send them
yeah.
a giant horse.
A literal Trojan horse.
A Trojan river horse.
I love it. Delivered by you? Yes. If you guys are down for it, I'm totally down for it.
Yes.
I think that's what we're going.
All right. So who are you going to manufacture this fake horse?
I feel like Rat's bit may have some information on.
I think I know a guy.
You do.
Maurice. Maurice can build anything.
Just we may want to have a quick conversation with Maurice.
Maurice is the orangutan, the Borneo orangutan. That fixes. He's a literal grease monkey. Fixes and repairs vehicles. So I think he would have some skills in creating.
All right. So you Dave know know your friend well. I think I understand what Carlos is saying. Would he be interested in joining, or would he just do jobs?
So my thought was to approach him as kind of bringing him in as he wouldn't like go out on jobs, but he could work on vehicles and souping things up and secret compartments and stuff like that. For the mob.
Mm-hmm. But he would join, you think?
That's the angle I was going for. Yes.
Okay.
Because he's already kind of into illegal modding and street racing, so
Sure.
It's not a huge stretch.
If there's peanuts in it for him, he's good. Okay.
I give Tully a supply of my personal stash of peanuts, and I say, money's no option at this point. Just want to make sure he knows he can rely on us.
Yeah, I think that'll work.
Sounds good.
All right. So, Dave, why don't you give me a roll +2? Let's see how well your fix-it monkey does on crafting this horse.
All right. I should have sorted my dice beforehand, but I'm a bad player and I didn't. All right. So is it just a straight roll?
Roll +2.
All right. Oh, double fives for a 10.
So the horse looks great. You know, the extra details that you specifically asked for are there. The compartment to, you know, be able to slide in the bomb set to your specific specifications, Tully, because you're going to be the one that's going to have to craft the bomb. It's all set, all set and ready to go for when you guys want that to be able to happen.
This is fantastic. You've really outdone yourself, Maurice.
No, I mean, it was my friend who asked, so had to do it right.
It's almost going to be a shame what we're going to do to it.
What are you going to do to it?
We're going to blow it up. It's going to be fantastic.
That's going to be a lot of fire then.
It's going to be a lot of fire.
Well, that'll be worth it. Just let me know when. I'll try to see if I can get in the trees and watch from a distance. Safe distance, of course.
That's a great idea. You should see your handiwork.
Fantastic. Ready. And
So, are we putting alcohol as the bomb, or are we putting gunpowder? And how are we getting the explosives for this?
I just figured I'd make up the biggest Molotov cocktail I've ever made before. Well, maybe not the biggest, but a pretty big one. I mean, that balloon turned out to be a pretty big one. The motorcycle was kind of big, too. I don't know.
So then we're talking about using alcohol as the accelerant.
Yeah, it's what I like to use.
Such a party foul.
A little bit for the fire, a little bit for old Tully.
I can't help. I just can't forget. You know what? As much as I forgot, I'm like, oh wow, I wonder how Dave's gonna pull this off. And then it's like, wait a minute, he blew up things before. We kept saying motorcycle, balloon. I'm like, oh god, that's right. I forgot.
Well, and Tully is a bootlegger, right? So, like, he can make alcohol, can't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So maybe his is just very explosive.
Yeah, it gives a lot of kick, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
All right. So, in order to get all of the specs, all of the bomb ready, which we still need to get a check on, you know, it's not gonna be an overnight scenario. Certainly isn't for the you know, getting the horse made to the exact specifications that you've asked for. So before I reveal the number of days, Dave, why don't you go ahead and make me a? I think this is going to be a caper. I mean, you're not it sounds like a criminal act. You're not deactivating an alarm system, but you're making a bomb. So unless you can justify another stat, I think that one makes some sense.
All right, committing a crate keeper sounds like a plan. Let's see. Would anyone like to try to assist? Oh, I do have one forward, so I do have a +1. Plus my sly.
Does anybody want to break it up?
Sure.
All right, so roll sly.
All right. Sly. I have a +2 here, so that's
All right.
decent, right? Okay. So that's a 6 + 2 plus. So I have double 2s, and the green boss, the ally boss, is showing.
What's your total
Double
number?
That's
boss.
8, 10 total.
All right, so that's going to be a success. You're going to give a +1 to Dave. And as we're heading into into the end of this, you get a marker back.
Hey, I spent a monster.
Okay. Got a 9 on the die. Plus, that's a 10, 11, 12.
All right, so that is a crit. Your bomb will actually perform better than what you had initially planned. Steven, what is it that Roscoe does or adds to make this bomb perform that much better?
I think that Roscoe would just snatch him some help. That's what he would do. He goes and finds one of the he finds one of the hyenas who is like known for being jittery.
I was gonna
and, like,
say he kidnaps Wild Bill and then puts him back after he's done with him. Since we've been tormenting him the whole game.
No, he does it to one of the hyenas. So he brings one of the hyenas and just like this jittery guy that's like a loose cannon, and he's like, "Here you go, I brought you some help."
He looks like Ed from The Lion King.
That's pretty much the character, and since one of the hyenas was definitely marked as Edward, who laughed and threw Molotov cocktails before. This is the one you bring in.
Here you go, Tully, I brought you a friend. He just like tosses a potato sack at him.
Much appreciated. Now we can get to work to serving our revenge. Best served cold and then hot.
So how do you use this hyena to make a better bomb?
I think the hyena's like really reluctant at first, and then like when I kind of explain the premise of the exploding horse, he doesn't care about anything else anymore, and he just wants to see the horse explode really well, and he really throws himself into the project.
Okay.
I think this guy's like a real idiot savant too, except for when it comes to explosives and making things blow up.
He definitely knows about making things blow up.
Just don't ask him to tie his shoes.
That works. So then what do you do with this snatched hyena there, Roscoe?
So he will probably set him up because he helped Tully really well, right? And he'll be like, "Look, so I'm going to level with you. We are planning on blowing up your place of work. So as a thank you for trying to help our dear friend Tully and for being so incredibly complicit in this whole thing, I would like to offer you this." And he will just like set him up with like a keg of whatever we have that we've got in the place, and just like lock him in a room with a keg and snacks and just real comfy, blankets, the whole, like he is living like a king. And then Roscoe's like, "As soon as we get done with the firebombing, you are welcome to do as you wish and leave as you will." Because he doesn't want him like going and warning his friends, right?
Sure. All right, so give me a start spit and roll.
Okay.
May I assist in that?
Absolutely.
I need the assistance. I need the assistance.
I got you, my guy. I got you. Except this time.
All right. So
I rolled double ones. Snake eyes.
Oh.
Double ones is a failure. So that's going to be -1 forward.
Oh no. So
and what do you got there, Steven?
So I have doubles also.
All right.
No bosses. I have double twos again, and this time it's a 2 and a 3 for 5 plus my 2 magnetism puts me at a 7. But I think because I have a -1 now, it's actually at a 6, which turns a success with consequence into a failure.
All right. So yeah, that. You both suffer a -1. This hyena who gets trapped in a room with all the provisions, all the hard work that he just did in order to see this great explosion, and he's not gonna be there for it. So he is quite upset with you.
So to be clear, he's not pissed that you're blowing up his place of employment. He's wanted to do that for years. He's pissed because he can't see it happen.
Yeah,
yes.
like
He just spent, you know, all this time trying to make something go boom, and he's not going to get to see the boom.
I could imagine this guy just a really disgruntled employee. Like he's the janitor that has to clean up after everybody. He's, like,
He's just the My Stapler guy from Office Space.
Mixed with, you know, literally Ed from The Lion King.
So I come down to him and I say, "Look."
Well, you've already said your piece. He's locked in a room now.
Oh, he's
and-
mad
Oh yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
But
you
I'm gonna ask him a quick
sure.
question.
You can ask him whatever you like.
If we allow you to see, and if you can be oh so quiet about the situation, are you gonna make my life difficult?
Yes.
Roscoe, you really have a knack for snatching them, don't you?
Yeah. But I thought it was poetic, and it was what's the word I'm looking for? Ironic in a way.
Well, buddy, I was gonna let you see, but if you're gonna make my life difficult, then
Make everybody's life difficult.
I want him to give me a start spitting roll, see if he can convince me.
I would like to withdraw my support for Arnold Shortman, aka Crazy River Horse, as the leader of the new gang, and I would like to throw my my weight and voice behind Edward now.
Edward 2024.
No, it's 1924. Get it right.
Right, yeah, right, my bad.
You're about a century late.
That's right.
All right. So it takes 3 days for all of this to happen. So between Tully and, you know, Monkey Mechanic and Edward, they're very busy. There's a little bit of time that Roscoe goes and stalks his prey, brings him back, and a little bit of conversing time amongst the crew. What do the three of you do with this downtime to
I
make ready?
heal.
I heal. I need every point I can get.
Just remember that you also made connection with the vet swallow named Tappy.
Mm-hmm.
So should any of you still require legitimate medical assistance, she is willing and able to help. One of Owl Capone's former colleagues set that up for you guys.
Mm-hmm. So I'll definitely go visit Tappy, but every day I visit Tappy, I'm gonna make sure me and Jenny, go out together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a couples bonding time type deal.
Sure. So more wild accusations happen until they're like running out of things that make any amount of sense. There are maybe one or two people guessing about the hippo, just because of the term river. But there's not a whole lot of people believing that one, that, the hippo is going to be the head of some kind of mafia. It just doesn't make any sense.
You know what? Gotta go big.
Roscoe, Frenzy, what is it that you wish to do over this time frame?
Well, I think Roscoe spent a good portion of his time actually doing the like he probably spent a whole day just like figuring out about Edward, and then like spent the next couple days kind of just standing over him and Tully to make sure that like he didn't pull any funny business while he was helping Tully.
Sure. Okay.
I have a question real quick.
Of course.
So with that last failure, I did get 5 experience. What can we do with experience besides raise our stats or get abilities? Because I thought there was another thing you could do with it, and I can't remember.
You could get new abilities from your playbook, or you could raise a stat to a max of +3.
Uh-huh.
There's some talk, in-house about other things that might be done, but nothing is official yet.
Okay. Yeah. I think that just makes sense for me to do then. I'm not going to do another thing or try to develop something else because I really want kind of his full attention to be on making sure that the plan up to getting Edward set up with his snacks and whatnot is very like smooth and not a problem, so to speak.
Sure. All right. What about you, Frenzy?
I am on standby for when I am needed to either hit something or do something. I'm just vibing.
Okay. Arnold, do you assign any tasks to any of your crew?
Yeah. I check in with the felines
Okay.
to see what their status is and what they had accomplished with the pedaling that I put them towards. And if they need to change the directive, I'll
Sure. So they've crossed as many paths as they could with the nip, trying to see who might be able to get hooked, and they've got some success, but they're not used to all of the ins and the outs of zoo life, so they are trying to approach things cautiously.
So I go to the kitty cats and I say, I thought you'd be able to sell more than this. I mean, good job for doing what you can do, but we need to make more progress. What's holding you up?
Well, to be fair, we're outsiders here. We're not seen as anything more than strays at the moment. Well, we don't have any official establishment with the River Horse yet. You haven't done anything to truly stake a claim beyond a couple announcements here and there and a whole boatload of speculation. If you don't mind me speaking bluntly, sir.
I see. Well, don't you worry. It's gonna be we're gonna announce ourselves in a blast, if you know what I mean. And okay. So I guess I'm gonna call in a favor to help these kitties out. I am gonna Leo. Do we have a liger at the zoo?
A library?
A liger?
Oh, a liger now.
No?
Those are incredibly rare.
Well, I like the idea of a library. Or so if we have any sort of repository of knowledge gaining, I would like to introduce them to let's think of a name. Peeps. He's an owl.
Okay.
Now he's not necessarily in mafia life. He's definitely kept to where knowledge may be at, whether it's the info booth or maybe some sort of place where children can go to read about animals. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I would assume that would be a place that could be within the petting zoo or the kids zoo area.
Okay.
You've got the area that you can pet, and then you can go inside and explore some other things. I think that makes sense.
Okay. And I'm gonna have Peeps.
Peeps, I would say, is probably an older owl. Probably too old to do even his own hunting.
Okay. Yeah. Like this old lady feed Peeps, you know what I mean? He feeds Peeps peps. That's what happens. And I guess I'll let my role do the talking at this point. All right, it's not bad. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if Peeps is inclined to teach my feline underlings more about zoo life, how zoo order works and whatnot, hopefully this will help them out when dealing their drugs.
Sure.
And I look at the kitty cat and say, "You're just here to learn. Don't tell the owl anything about what you're really doing. Understood?"
Sure.
Okay. Become knowledgeable, learn how it works, and let's see if we can make some progress, and let me know if you need anything.
All right. So they're going to spend some time, here, kind of like interspersed between the other jobs. So like, you'd certainly convince Peeps to, be willing to assist so long as you're, providing, whether you give him peanuts or mice or whatever, you're paying him in some regard. He's willing to work with you.
Okay. I'll definitely I was thinking feeder pets, but nope, can't do that. I was thinking that for a second, but I'll give Peeps some soft food.
Okay. Sure.
That's what I'll do.
All right. So unless there's anything else that somebody wants to happen, our 3 days goes by. You manage to, hear through the grapevine that things have been a little bit more quiet, a little bit more reserved than they've been of late. Obviously, by now it's been reported that Charlie Chains is no more. The question of what's going on with Otto, what's going on with Hambino, as it appears that both have lost some folks, and but no one's heard tale of what's been happening with any of Capone's birds of prey, because they have not been on the scene. Have they retired? What's going on? So one night. How is the horse being delivered?
That's a very good question. So, boss, how should we deliver your message?
We gotta put on the razzle dazzle. So, I think we should have our savant with the most friendliest grin.
Oh, wait a minute. Is this the start of a new job? Because I do have an idea.
Sure, this could be a new job.
Yeah.
Whenever Dave says I have an idea and he gets that very specific twinkle in his eye, I'm ready for it. I don't care what it is. I'm here for it.
Okay. So license to drive. I have an 11. So basically, anything the GM deems reasonable. Can I get another hot air balloon?
No, I don't think so. I think this zoo had one, destroyed it.
Son of a bitch. News Zeppelin, maybe?
No.
All right, we can't airlift it in then.
No airlifting your horse. Sorry. You played that card.
All right, what about a farm tractor?
A farm tractor? A farm tractor is not available on the zoo. You can use the van that you've snuck in, that for some reason has not been towed away yet.
All right. Well, we have the van that we can tow it if we want to tow it there with the van, and it's a pet shop van, right?
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Lovely.
We like food delivery.
I like it.
So, all right, so the driving aspect, I'm not going to make you roll for because you know how to do that part. But the disconnecting and the presenting this during hours of, shall we call it, operation, how are you going to do this somewhat covertly? And I'll allow you to make the choice of whether you want to do this as a get out of a jam or whether you want to do it as a commit a caper. Either will work.
I will do it as get out of a jam. But does Crazy River Horse want to like roll up with it as like his peace offering?
Yeah. Completely.
All right. So is there a speech to go along with this then?
There's definitely got to be a speech to go along with this.
All right. Well, if there's a speech going along with a presentation, well then clearly there does not need to be another roll. So let's hear this speech, Crazy River Horse.
My
work here is done.
My fellow zoo citizens. We might have got off on the wrong foot. And you know what? I want to let bygones be bygones. Because you know why? All this hatred and animosity is not good for business. For anyone's side. You know? And I want to literally offer you a peace offering. So, is there anything you need from me? Just let me know. But we make sure this right here was sculpted as a symbol of peace. And I want to make sure you all know it's genuinely from my heart.
All right. Start spitting to not only convince but to deceive. Because you are lying out your ass.
I am aware.
There's definitely parts of that were absolutely true. He's totally letting them know how he feels from the bottom of his heart.
The bottom of his black heart.
Remember, they mildly insulted us.
This is the laughing stock. They didn't mildly insult you.
All right. I'm going to have to spend the marker on this one. It is my last spendable marker before. If I spend the next one, I'm going to be ejected from the zoo.
Wow.
So, from this point, folks, straight rolls for me.
Well,
And pray you don't get 2 1s.
Right.
So as we go into the finale next week, make sure you protect your your head. Otherwise, they might have to die.
We have a backup. It's okay.
Is somebody else the Crazy River Horse?
Who could be a crazier river horse than Edward dressed as a mermaid?
I love it.
I thought you were going to go with yourself because you're certainly crazy.
You know, if this guy dies, I'm totally gonna make Edward. Throw that out there. Edward's my backup character.
I love it. All right. So the with you turning in the marker, that clearly is a success. Tully, do you stay and listen to the speech? Is anyone else actually here?
Nah, I'm gonna do disconnecting and moving the van out of the way, and let Crazy River Horse have his moment.
All right, Frenzy, Roscoe, are you here for this? Do you depart?
Well, yeah, I'm here for it.
I think, yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for it because I want to see what's going on.
All right. So the horse is delivered, wheeled into the hyena enclosure, and they're checking it out, and they're clearly impressed with the not the craftsmanship. That's the word I'm looking for. But they're not quite savvy enough to really smell any of what's going on before what transpires. You already rolled super well on the bomb, so how does this look like there, Tully?
So as I'm disconnecting everything and getting ready to leave, I light the fuse, which is hidden inside the horse's tail.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of looks like a little bit of a pyrotechnics show. It's like starts shooting sparks out its ass and out of his nostrils, until it kind of hits a crescendo, and the whole thing begins to what's the word I'm looking for? The sides begin to heave, almost like a real horse after it's been running, till it all begins to glow cherry red until it finally explodes, making one of the biggest fire bombs that we've made. But even more so than that, it's also a shrapnel grenade, essentially, because Maurice made it. He works on automobiles. Automobiles are made of metal. The horse is made of metal.
Yep. All right. So have you, if you're familiar with the Patriot, when the one woman sees the ship burning and is like, "Oh, fireworks!" That kind of idiocy is the reaction that these hyenas take before the god-awful explosion shakes the entire zoo. You are certain that this has been heard not only by the zoo, but anything outside within close proximity is aware that something has just transpired, and the hyena enclosure is now littered with not only exploded hyenas, but those that were further back are lying bleeding to death by various pieces of shrapnel and all kinds of explosions. So anything that was close is just gone.
Wow. So within a safe distance, I turn away because cool guys don't look at explosions. And I kind of make a loud announcement. And let that be a lesson to anybody who dares cross Crazy River Horse. If you think anything that happens will go unchallenged, we'll see how crazy we can get. I'm assuming that Dennis totally drives off into the middle of the night.
We should make.
Hey, frenzy. How did we do? I know you wanted to leave a bloody, messy message. Is this kind of what you had in mind?
Well, this is precisely what I had in mind. I think this will do just fine.
Not to be a wet blanket, but we should probably make tracks infest because that kind of boom is probably going to attract attention of humans too. And we should probably be in our enclosures and not, gallivanting about in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you're the second in command, Roscoe.
Oh, snap.
Sly. So roll Sly or Moxie, your choice. Here, everybody. Give me your rolls.
TBH, I
They're the same for me.
Yeah, TBH, I kind of feel like Tully's going so fast, he's popping a wheelie, you know?
Well, this is going to make things a bit interesting.
I got 555s. I'm not sure if that's a thing or not because it doesn't have a boss showing.
No, it is totally a thing. Anytime
Triple-
triples are rolled, markers change.
Yep.
That's good because I also have triples.
Hey!
For a total of a 4, I rolled triple ones.
Wow.
So I'm going to lose a marker.
So Dave loses a marker. I assume your trip 5s is a success.
It's a 12 total.
12. All right, so that you're going to gain a marker.
But there's no bosses. There's no bosses showing.
Yep. Nope.
Oh, okay.
Robin, did I hear you at a 10?
Yes.
And what do you have there, Carlos?
5.
5?
Yeah.
Oh,
I guess I was a little too loud.
All right. So
I'm keeping positive, Steven. Backup characters, Ed. I'm keeping positive.
Fair. I mean, I've had a lot of creative energy, so
Yeah.
who doesn't love some new art, right? Last game.
all right. So I gave it a 50-50 chance for each of you as you are heading back off towards your enclosures. A certain gazelle happens to see the hippo slipping back into his enclosure. There may or may not be something to happen with that later. But as as Tully is climbing back over the wall of his enclosure, you are spotted by a trio of zookeepers that apparently hadn't fully left the zoo and were moving back or moving towards where this sound came from. Where are you at in regards to markers, Dave?
I have 2 left.
All right, well now you have 1 left.
Oh snap!
We in the same boat, dog.
Seeing the zookeepers, Tully will fall on his back and be a turtle stuck on his back.
They see you climbing over the wall, but quickly begin moving toward wherever the sound came from. Over the next couple of days, not much happens in zoo life as humans aren't leaving the zoo when they normally do. They begin looking around at what kind of horribleness has happened here in the zoo, and begin looking at the fact that there's been several of these attacks, like large explosions, lots of things going on. It's difficult to even get more than a sentence a message through the local wildlife that you've managed to work with. Thankfully, with Crazy River Horse, rodents are pretty easy to get to in and out of places unnoticed. So for the next week, these become your messengers. And since they're kind of based out of where you are, Crazy River Horse, what do you do with your messengers?
So, I guess first thing is like a general check-in with everybody, making sure they're okay. And would anybody report anything differently or amongst the crew that they're okay or not?
So sound off. How is
Yeah, talking to the
how
crew.
is-
I mean,
how is Tully reporting in?
So, let's see. Oh, I'm loath to do it, but I think I'm gonna have no choice. I'm gonna have to use my little newsy buddy.
Well, you've got the ability to only talk through the mice because everyone is in their enclosures because the humans are
Okay, locking this down.
everything is basically locked down while the humans are trying to figure out who is coming in and messing up the zoo. You get the general idea that they don't suspect it's the animals because that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But someone is getting into the zoo and causing, severe damage to buildings and in some cases the animals. So when a mouse, ally comes to your enclosure to say, hey, River Horse is asking for your check-in, what are you reporting back?
I'm just stuck here like everybody else until these humans get bored. Unless we can, we need a fall human. We need someone to go down for this. That's the only way they're gonna lay off.
All right. So
Someone to blame.
as the mouse comes to you, Frenzy, what is your message for the boss?
I mean, honestly, I entirely agree with that sentiment that the humans are going to need someone to blame. I'm also going to advise that we, keep eyes out for their comings and goings, get a better idea of what their movements look like, because we've been keeping our eyes inward this whole time, and clearly that ain't gonna fly anymore.
And for you, Roscoe?
So I think Roscoe has an idea, and he's going to propose this through the mice.
Sure.
He wants to try to write a plan out, basically, of causing distractions in the zoo in order for some mobster that Roscoe's just going to make up, like a human mobster from outside the zoo who wants to snag and eat the warthog because he thinks it's a delicacy, hopefully causing the zoo to want to move Hambino for safety.
That's excellent.
Oh my word. All right.
What does the hippo think of this?
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. This is crazy. And this is absolutely going to be commit a caper.
I have a skill called You Got Papers.
Yes, but you aren't. Are you going to try it?
Well, if I can assist in some way using that skill.
You guys are not in the same enclosure.
That is true. Alrighty, that's all you, my guy.
Okay, yeah. What am I rolling?
This is going to be Sly. Commit a caper.
Fine. Okay. Okay, so that's 5, 1, 4. Okay, no doubles. That's a good start. 5 and 1 is 6. I have a +2 to Sly. That makes it 8.
8. All right. So, to some level, there is going to be some credibility to this threat. But how are you getting this to the humans?
I would like the mice to leave it in the pathway near the warthog enclosure.
All right. Okay. So by now, I believe all of you are fully healed, as over the course of a second week, things begin to slow down. Some animals begin to have issues as they themselves are drying out, having not had a chance to go and frolic and party. Some animals have freaked out as they've been held away from their normal life for quite a while. How are each of you handling the strain of being essentially prisoners? We'll start off with you, Roscoe. You've now been 2 weeks away from your nightly gallivants. Your only contact being those that are the mice delivering messages and those within neighboring pens.
So, I think I'm going to lean hard into like tropes and say that Roscoe takes up the harmonica and plays like soulful morning blues music at night.
There's no ability to do anything that would be not animal.
Oh, I see. Because they're like here all the time.
They're here all the time.
I see. So Roscoe is going to he's gonna eat his bamboo and chill out. And he's gonna get lonely real quick, and he's gonna kind of just like start doing a lot of pacing. He's clearly getting irritated, and he kind of occasionally, just like when nobody's around, kind of mutters to himself like, man, it's like we got caught. It's like the fuzz caught us, but worse, because it's humans, and humans are the worst. And he's just like, not a very happy camper. Lots of pacing his enclosure, lots of restlessness, whereas usually he's like super chill during the day because he's tired.
Mhm.
He's like hyper now, like, and
Sure.
just too much energy.
Sure. Frenzy, how are you handling this stress? What are you doing?
We are still able to get to see close neighbors occasionally.
If they're either in your immediate pen or to the pen to the left or right, those are the only ones that you have the ability to covertly communicate with.
Then I've been hanging out with Lazarus because I imagine, like, also being a gator, his pen is adjacent to my own. So we've been like just kind of sitting on either side of the wall playing tic-tac-toe or whatever.
So
Couldn't do anything that would
yeah, it was kind of cool. You could turn it off if you want.
make note of you doing anything that would be human-esque. But
I mean, as long as it's
conversing.
something that we can scrub very quickly, I think it'll
Sure.
be okay.
Okay. Tully, what are you doing with this stressor period?
I think Tully retreats to his mind palace and just imagines the things that he loves: racing, blowing things up, and flamingos. Not necessarily in that order.
What about racing exploding flamingos?
You would not dream of ever wasting flamingos by exploding them.
Just curious. And last but certainly not least, one Arnold Shortman, aka Crazy River Horse. How are you handling the stress beyond talking to your assortment of mice?
Quick question: besides papers and whatnot, can these rodents deliver items?
Like what?
Maybe little, you know those little bottles of booze that you may get at a liquor store.
I don't know if they had them back then.
Okay. Well, the way Arnold spends his time is I don't think the humans will find it weird that the hippos want to be, they crawl into their little space and can't be seen at night. So while they think he's gonna be at the hideout, and he starts changing costumes from time to time, it's kind of like, no, this doesn't look right. Doesn't look right, and he just keeps going like that. And every couple of seconds, he sees his alter ego, the crazy horse, standing across the room, criticizing, saying, "No, you need something more devious, more darker." And he's like, "Yeah, you're right." As he's flipping through his costumes, doing this, and then he keeps hearing in his head, "You need to make sure you haven't been forgotten about." He's like, "Yeah, you're right." And from time to time, he has them rodents deliver caricatures of like a horse is, in sometimes animals find the horse in their pen just cuz, and I don't know, it might mess with other people as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a full 2 weeks after the explosion, the usual day's stressors of the relentless zoo, all the damage that has been happening over the last couple of months has finally been repaired. The hyena enclosure completely closed off. No new hyenas have been let in. The giraffe enclosure currently closed off. A couple other enclosures seem to be completely empty as well. Ironically, much of that in the savannah seems to be rather barren. But as night falls and the lights go down, a familiar quiet finally, after a good solid 2 weeks, meets all of your ears. And faces begin to perk up. Animal ears turn side to side, waiting to see when the next human comes walking by. When does the project begin on this building or that building or this enclosure? But after a good solid 10 minutes, no lights, no sounds, finally, no humans. The zoo is once again, my friends, yours.
Always been ours, even if they didn't know it. That's the Dark Horse alter ego talking, by the way.
But with animals being stuck in their enclosures, there's no newspaper this evening. There's no news of what's been going on for a good solid 2 weeks. Everyone has been left to their own devices. Maybe some have managed to find a way to keep some shred of contact as some of you have found. But it's up to you now to decide how you're going to reconnect with the zoo and find out what has transpired.
I send out messenger mice, and I'm all like, it just says, let's get the crew together.
So are you getting the crew as in the group of you or to all of your squad?
I think it's after a little bit of being cooped up, I think we can celebrate a little bit. This ounce of freedom. The whole squad.
All right. So where are you telling them to meet?
At the hideout.
All right. So you are letting the extended crew into the full hideout?
Nah. No. I visit, you know what? First I visit the extended crew, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then make sure everyone's doing good, checking on them as any good boss should do. Assuming everything's all positive. The crew, you know, like Frenzy, Tully, and Roscoe.
All right. So brief check-in with everybody, and then your core crew meets at the hideout.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the four of you are gathered together. It has been solid 2 weeks since you've seen each other's faces. What do you react? What do you do? What do you say?
Y'all don't even realize it's Arnold letting you in. That's how much you've been practicing his disguises. And as he lets you all in, you see pictures of horses everywhere.
What have you been doing, Arnold?
Immortalizing myself.
But you're not actually a horse.
That's not the point. As he like shifts through, that could be anything I want, any place, anything. He's like, get a hold of yourself. Get a hold of yourself.
You all right? How the rest of you holding up? I hope you're holding up better than Crazy River Horse. Emphasis is on crazy.
I think he's okay. I mean, I'm okay.
All right.
So Roscoe came from Dorothy's, actually. So Roscoe spent, as soon as he was able, he and Barry met up because he wanted to reconnect there. And so then when he got the message, he was kind of like, all right, job calls. And then he like goes. And so Roscoe's actually kind of like in a more of a funk. And he'll kind of like, when Tully asks, how are you holding up? He sort of looks to Tully and then looks at Arnold. And he's like, so here's the thing. I've done a lot of thinking. Not just about how much I hate humans, although humans really stink. Like, it's kind of terrible. It's not even like skunk stink where it's like tolerable, right? But I have been afforded a good deal of reflection time. And you know, I kind of wonder if in some weird way the three big bosses that have kind of ruled the zoo, Al Capone, Hambino, and Otto, contributed to some sort of balance in the zoo. Like, there were lines that we just knew they wouldn't cross, right? Like yeah, they were kind of each in it for themselves, but I mean, we almost broke the zoo, guys.
You can't make an omelet or a crime family without breaking a zoo or some eggs.
I mean, there's a difference between cracking eggs and blowing up the hen house.
Well, you get to crack all the eggs at once that way.
Yeah, and fry them at the same time.
Yeah,
And,
it's super efficient.
Yeah, but nobody's getting a cake then.
I thought we were making an omelet.
Nah, and I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of wanted to get my cake and eat it too. And I mean, I'm not saying that I think that we did wrong because we did need to send a message because of
Well,
Ricky.
wait a minute. Can we top that cake with flies?
I mean, we very well might have because our actions went beyond just the mafias. And I'm once again, I know we're the bad guys. I'm cool with that. But at the same time, I gotta wonder, like, if we blow everything up, what's left to actually prosper off of? I don't know. Maybe I've just had too much time to think to myself in my cage.
You make some good points. Mostly about being, too much time to yourself. So I'm a tortoise. We live a really, really long time. It's only been a couple weeks. It's not really that long at all.
I put my hands on Roscoe, not in a threatening way at all whatsoever, kind of like just comforting a buddy. And it's like this. You have people you care about, Roscoe?
I mean, I do now. And that's kind of part of what I'm thinking about here.
Well,
You're not going soft on us, are you, buddy?
let's put it this way. We're not building a cake, we're not building an omelet, we're building an empire. An empire that will take care of your loved ones. Not to be under the thumb of other folks. I get what you're saying. Last time was big. Really big. But can we thrive by playing by the same rules as everybody else? The world's changing. You can either be ahead of the change, or you can watch the change pass you. I choose to be ahead. I got people I care about. As he looks at a picture of Jenny. And I think I could do right by them, you all. And the question is, are you going to be a cog? Or are we going to be the ones pushing the buttons?
I mean, that's fair. And I did actually plant some evidence to hopefully get Hambino out of the picture should we need it. I'm not sure how successful it was, but your mice friends were very cooperative in this endeavor. I just
cool. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I just wonder if we might not need to think more prudently about some of our plans in the coming future if we are going to build this empire. And he sort of like looks to Frenzy to like almost questioning to like see what her thought process is or what her response would be.
And Frenzy just kind of looks up from the magazine pile she's got spread in front of her and taps the ash off of the end of her long cigarette holder and kind of, shifts in that slow crocodilian kind of way. There's no sense in ruling over a crater. I can see kind of peeling back a little bit. I don't think that necessarily means going soft.
I gotta say, I love the image of Frenzy in like her full-on flapper outfit with the long cigarette, just tapping a little bit of ash falling off. That's just an awesome picture right there.
Thank you.
Completely. Well, I would be unwise to not listen to you guys. So, agreed.
So maybe we just do more precise strikes. I mean, it was my miscalculation too. They did answer for it, and now everybody knows better than to fuck with us because they know we'll go way too far compulsively. And it doesn't mean that we have to still be willing to do it as long as everybody thinks that we are. Just saying.
Exactly.
The good old man theory. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. I mean, 2 weeks ago, no one even knew who we were, how far we would go, what we would do. Once is enough. As he moves over to Tully. But this guy right here, that was one hell of a fire. That was one hell of a fireworks show you put up, Tully. Oh my God! Please give Maurice my compliments.
I'm a little sad that we're not going to get to do that anytime soon again, but hopefully it's enough to let him know that we're not messing around. We'll mess him up, and we'll mess him up real good.
Exactly.
I do think that it does speak to our influence when we make Otto the moderate in this equation of the three new bosses.
We make Otto the conservative. Nice.
But that does make me wonder if he might perchance become a threat, having seen how loose our cannons are comparatively.
Are you suggesting we should hit him first?
I mean, like I said, I did do a little bit of subterfuge to attempt to help with Hambino, and I think that with Otto, if we don't strike hot and quick, it would be a misstep, we'll say.
Well, we've hit the other two pretty good, and we've kind of left Otto alone, and he is the one that mildly insulted us, after all.
Couldn't agree. And so, literally, almost like Crazy Horse was speaking, was like, yeah, that sounds great.
What is this place called? The River something?
His establishment is River Bottom.
Maybe we should change the river bottom to the bottom of the river. Just one last shot across the bow, so that they all know we're not afraid of any of them.
Yeah, I like the idea.
I mean, just a thought.
Can't wait to see the look on Otto's face.
So, as the night goes on, and you begin moving into strategy, let's shift into an out of game. What are you looking to do as your next several steps?
I'm gonna be 100. I have no idea, man.
Well, I was going to actually in game propose perhaps we set up a. Well, Al Capone is kind of out of it now, right? Like
Correct.
So maybe we set up a Appalachian style treaty with the remaining crime heads of the crime family instead of doing a first strike, and establish ourselves as taking over Al Capone's territory, and they can take it or leave it.
Yeah. Arnold agrees with that.
I mean, or we could hit Otto first and then propose the treaty. Or we could propose the treaty, double cross everyone, and just hit them.
You know what? There's so many good ideas. You almost see like Arnold and Crazy Horse, kind of like, yeah.
Or we could all turn over a new leaf, give up crime, and go back to normal lives.
Are we seeing a Two-Face thing going on here?
Perhaps. You're the one that put me in captivity, dog. What do you want me to say?
Hey, all I'm doing is responding as the world would do with the antics you guys have put out there. The humans might be dumb, but they can't abide by an entire enclosure and all their animals exploding.
Well, okay, yeah.
100%. I think Roscoe wants to pull Frenzy to the side a little bit.
Okay.
Because like he's kind of had this buddy sort of thing with her. So at some point he'll just be like, hey, Frenzy, let's go get some lunch.
Sure.
And so as they're walking towards wherever they're getting their lunch, right? I'm getting a little concerned for our dear friend Arnold.
Right. Because he's got stuff going on.
Right. Like, I mean, we used the name Crazy River Horse originally not to describe him, but to instill fear in others and confuse who it could possibly be. But the more he takes on these different disguises and these personalities, it's almost like he's literally adding them in his head.
Right, so we're gonna bench him for a little while, have him just be the guy sitting on the throne for a bit, and see if he calms down, because we can't actually have him being truly mad.
Yeah. I wonder if we maybe did something wrong by our friend by setting him up with too much pressure.
Huh. You know what? That's entirely possible. And if that's the case, then we'll apologize and maybe drain some of that off. He doesn't have to, like, actually be Atlas. We can maybe make him some scaffolding, I guess, as long as the audience doesn't see it.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, the more we had a lot of time to think, right? And during that time, I realized Arnold didn't ask to be our leader. We just sort of assumed that since he was the glue that brought us together, that he should be. And I just don't want to force something on him that is, going to hurt him.
Okay. So we check in with him, we see how he's doing. If he needs some more support, we give him that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Maybe should talk to Tully about it too. Tully's also very loose cannon, but he's kind of always been on the edge. So I don't know. What do you think?
I'm sorry, what are we? Something about Tully.
Oh, he just said that Tully's kind of always been on the brink, so he's not super concerned that Tully's doing all
Oh,
this.
okay, yes, no,
But,
that entirely makes sense. No, I am very concerned as well, and we should definitely check in. But like Tully being a normal kind of crazy is probably a good enough reason to let him know that something's up as well, so he can maybe help us out.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And so I guess whenever we bring back sandwiches or whatever, right, with that newfangled invention, sliced bread, Roscoe will approach Tully and be like, "Hey, buddy, brought you a sandwich, extra lettuce."
Oh, thanks for remembering. I'm mostly a vegetarian.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Frenzy and I had a talk on the way to get the sandwiches, right? And I mean, you're a loose cannon, right? And I mean, we love that about you. It's great. But
what do you mean? I'm just like, a regular guy. I like to go fast. I like to set things on fire. I love me some flamingo ladies.
Right, but you haven't changed in such a dramatic fashion that you became that, right? This has kind of always been you.
Oh yeah. Tortoises are very long lived. So, I'm pretty mature right now, and I'll probably be like this for the next 200 years.
Yeah. Wow, 200 years. That's a lot.
Unless I
No.
crash or burn up or get off by Chi-Chi. But, anything's possible.
Yeah. I mean, what you and Chi-Chi do is your business, frankly speaking. But listen, we did voice that we were concerned about Arnold because he has not been a loose cannon until recent days.
What do you mean? This new direction is great. I've never seen him so decisive and in control and commanding.
I mean, he is very controlling and commanding right now.
Did you hear that speech he gave and the speech afterwards? I would follow Arnold or Crazy River Horse to the ends of the world, to the gates of hell itself.
I mean, that's fair. But Arnold, usually when he did stuff like that, was putting on a character. And now, I think he might believe it. I think that maybe instead of assuming outward disguises, he's assuming more inward personalities. And this is, a little bit more than mildly concerning, because I worry that we put the pressure on Arnold, and I don't want it to break him. Like, he brought us together. I don't want us to tear him apart.
So you want to get him like a shrink or something?
No, but I think it might be beneficial for us to have a conversation with him. And knowing that you are, no offense, very unhinged, I thought maybe you might have some suggestions about exactly how to go about that in a way that would not offend him, but also would communicate our concern.
I'm not sure what you mean. I'm just, Tully. Just do what I've always done. Now, he's doing what he does, and that's a little bit different than before. We can just accept him as he is and see how it goes. Or we can get him a shrink, like you said. But I'm not sure they're that helpful.
I mean, that's fair. We could.
You want to tie him up?
No, I just want, as long as it makes him happy. I just am concerned he's not happy because he isn't acting very happy. He's acting very squirrely, I suppose.
You want to take him out and get Edward in there instead?
No, I don't want to take him out. I just want to have a conversation.
Oh, okay. Good, because, I like Crazy River Horse.
I mean, I like the idea of Crazy River Horse. And if that's who he wants to be, then yes, I like Crazy River Horse too. I just want to make sure it's what he wants and not what he thinks we want.
Oh, well, he could have said no at any time. He's a big hippo. He's got his big hippo pants on.
Well, you might think that, but speaking as someone who's regularly had society try to pressure him on things, I know firsthand it's not always easy just saying no to people.
Oh, we could ask him.
I think that's a good idea.
All right, let's go.
He'll go over and give Arnold his sandwich as well, and with everybody kind of together now, just be like, so we had some concerns.
Oh, wait a minute, Roscoe, I got this. Yo, hey Arnold, buddy, Crazy River Horse. We wanted to talk to you about some things. We know there's a lot going on and things are happening really fast. And Roscoe is a little worried that maybe you've gone too deep into the Crazy River Horse thing. I'm really liking it. I enjoy it. I think this look is good on you. Those speeches you gave are phenomenal. But what is it you said, Roscoe?
I just want to make sure that it's what you want and that we haven't put too much pressure on you with this leadership role. Just because you brought us together and you've been the glue that's held us together, that doesn't mean that it's fair for us to put this kind of role on you if you aren't wanting it.
So at the start of this interaction, he's just lighting a cigar. Hey Arnold, huh? Hey, what's up? As he's hearing all the concerns being brought up, he kind of puts down his cigars, like, I see. Yeah, I guess, okay, you're right. I've taken some actions It may seem crazy. And I know I get it. I completely understand everyone's concern, but they really hurt Ricky.
This
That
is
could have been any one of y'all at the bottom of that dumpster. You know, when it comes to it, how far is too far? And I
Depends
get
on
it.
what side you're on.
And I get it. So that's why I have you all together. I'll listen to you all. And I don't want to be in a situation where I can't rely on your counsel. So maybe the time to be alone with my own thoughts kind of seeing some things, but I'd rather have people too scared to do anything than to be a little too brave to do something.
that's fair, buddy. And he'll just like go into give you a kind of side hug if you'll accept it.
He'll totally accept that. Kind of give you a hug right back.
Yeah, and he'll just be like, you know, what happened to Ricky was wrong. But know that even when we are alone in our enclosures, you don't ever have to be lonely. You know?
Yeah. Well, like I said, from the get-go, we don't need to join a family. We are a family. And I do anything for my family.
And we do anything for you too. That's why we've gone this far for you. But if you need us to take a break for a week or so to just process about Ricky, that's okay. If you want us to take the reins for a week, or if you want us to not, if you want to dive in, that's cool too. Whatever you want, we're here for you, buddy. And he gestures to Tully and Frenzy. Like, you brought us together at the very beginning, and we're not going anywhere.
And I'll be there to make sure you guys stay there.
Yeah, boss, if you need to put your feet up for a bit, for a spell, that's fine. We'll kill anyone you want while you rest.
I had about 2 weeks to rest. Air would do me some good. But, again, I'll go within your counsel.
So are we going to go with the carrot or the stick?
Looks towards Frenzy. What do you think?
Don't make me say something violent after we just had a whole moment where we were being all heartwarming and saying we shouldn't blow up the zoo. Don't put this one on me.
We were mildly insulted. I mean, I don't know if we should really let that stand.
Well, like I said, I listened to my war council.
We should choose our battles.
Okay.
As you begin to mull over the possible directions, we'll put a story beat and pause right here at this very heartfelt moment, at this, reunion after 2 weeks of, solace imprisoned within your own cell, unable to communicate, and see what is going to transpire upon the morrow. Well, in this case, upon next week, where I do believe for one way or another, we're going to have a finale next week, and we will wrap this up in 12 sessions. So come on back and see the end of season 2 next week. As always, check the description below for where you can get access to the quick start roles over on the website. Sign up for Zoo Mafia newsletter at zoomafiarpg.com. Follow these people all on social media and what have you. And until next time,
Stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.